Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for tuning into the Cloud Native FM podcast YouTube channel. And we are doing back-to-back episode. Yesterday, we're talking about Cumulus Cloud Platform, and today we're talking about some shared responsibility model for the platform engineering team and some ADA platform as well. So we do know that the cloud has this shared responsibility model that customers and the provider can actually collaborate and make sure that the responsibilities are shared among different participants or stakeholder. But why doesn't why do not have yet communicating about platform engineering and shared responsibility model? And that is the topic of today. So let me introduce my guest to this YouTube to you for today's discussion, Marcelo. Thank you very much, Marcelo, for being on the show. Now I hand over to you for your intro and some of the stuff you are doing in your company side as well.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for inviting me here today. Glad to be here. We talked recently on the CNCF working group, and I presented my company's internal developer platform, Ada, at my company Ada's internal developer platform, and how we launched it, how we market it. So, thanks for this opportunity. So, I'd like to start off with like a short presentation of like who we are and what we developed in our internal developer platform at
Yes,
Ada. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Alrighty. So again, I'm Andre Marcelo Tanner. I'm a staff DevOps engineer at Ada. Ada is a AI agent company. We help lots of companies in customer service automate their full end-to-end customer service on chat, voice, and email. You hear a lot about this nowadays, but we've been around for like 7+ years working in AI. And so I've been part of the company for, I think, over coming up in 5 years. And a lot has changed over the time. And our company has grown and then shrunk a bit, but we've gone from a 4-person platform team that does almost everything to a 4-team, 5-team department, and then now we're back to a 6-person infrastructure slash platform team slash developer automation. So a lot of things have changed. But when you've been at the company so long, the tools that are there, they're really they stay like legacy systems stay, and all you can do is make them better over time. And I think this is where platform engineering comes in. It helps you organize all the systems inside a company. And this diagram here is what I like to talk about, like to show. It's not exactly, it's something like what we have, but like if you are the engineer in the middle here, this is everything you have to deal with at your company of like, oh, there's so much I have to do just to get my piece of feature, my code into production. And this is probably just a small example, right? And this is one person on a team. And then you have a team that manages multiple services, multiple dependencies, and then they have to think about them, right? And maybe they just recently joined or they've been there a long time and they get moved around, or the companies change over time. And so the developer, the engineer has to be constantly adapting, right? But then there's so much to like keep in mind and keep trying to move the business forward. So I think DevOps is a very nice move from where things were 20 years ago, but now there's so much complexity in the landscape. We can do a lot more. We have larger scale, but then there's so much cognitive complexity and load. And that's where I like the internal developer platform to come in and make things simpler back in. So it was things were simpler before, then now they got more complex. I think platform engineering is trying to bring it back in and make it easier to manage, right? Optimize. And at Ada, we have a lot of tools and processes. And basically what I like to say is our internal developer platform was basically whatever we had, our list of tools and processes to get from zero code to production. But what we did was we took some time to like turn that into a product and sort of like take those common things and group them together. And we came up with these 4, and you call them categories. We call them building blocks of what makes up our internal developer platform. Really, this could be anything at your company. We call them a service registry, standard template, dynamic operator, and standard pipelines. They're marketing terms, yeah, but really an internal developer platform is a product within the company. So you have to think in terms of marketing, in terms of how you brand it. And so this is what we did. And I'm just go through it quickly, but we made a service registry, and you may see things out there like Backstage and such. We did ours simply in GitHub because it was what was easy for us. We use GitHub at our company for managing our repositories. We took our templates that we used to just copy and paste to every repository, and we used Cookie Cutter, which is an open source tool that Backstage also uses, some other projects, and we made those replicable and used GitHub Actions to make CI pipelines. So you can see here, we're not exactly using CNCF tools to solve everything, but we're using tools that our team is familiar with in-house. And this is a theme, you'll see repeated here throughout platform engineering. And one thing we did do that is unique that we added on when we created this platform was we used the Kubernetes operator pattern, because we do use Kubernetes at our company a lot, to create a abstraction to make it easier to manage Kubernetes. Kelsey Hightower likes to say Kubernetes itself is a platform for building platforms. It used to be a lot simpler, but now Kubernetes is there's the landscape is very complex in the CNCF, and you can ask a developer to understand everything that Kubernetes does, but it's easier if you have a team that can do that understanding and then translate that into a 1 or 2 line config and make that operator do everything for the developer. And you might hear this like a operator, dynamic operator. Basically, it works on things at runtime. And the last building block, but this isn't the entirety of our platform. We call our pipelines. This is basically CI, standard replicable CI jobs. Your company may use Jenkins, GitLab, Circle CI. We use GitHub Actions now, and there's a big marketplace of that. We also build our common actions within our company that every team can use. And so the way we try to look at it is like our platform team within the company is like the Apple Store. You come in and you just pick whatever you need off the shelf and take it and go, right? You just start developing. You don't have to like build the computer yourself. If you want to build the computer yourself, like this guy here, Henry Cavill, you can, but it's a lot of work, and you may be that buff, be able to do it. But we prefer you just take what we build and go do what's best for the business. And yeah, that's basically my intro spiel here of like how we thought about our platform within our company and how we built it and like adapted it to work with our workflows within our company.
Yes, absolutely. That's a super informative and super productive intro as well. And if audience have question on the chat, please let us know. And also I can share the link with you about the platform, that is www.ada.cx. You can go there and learn more about it. And also if you want to chat more about it, about the product that the team is developing, Marcelo is actually on the CNCF Slack channel to have more info for you as well. And before we actually go into the main topic, are your team is traveling to the KubeCon? If so, how do community or people can want to chat to you about the offering your solution is delivering?
Well, Ada is a customer service company, so we do AI for customer service. So if you're interested in that, plenty of my people, I could put you in touch to help improve your customer service. If you want to talk about platform, internal developer platform, I will be at KubeCon Paris in a few weeks. I have a talk with my colleague Alistair Israel. We're at ArgoCon, and we're talking about how we did the notifications for our platform. Where we moved our developer paradigm from synchronous to asynchronous. So I'll be around KubeCon. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm in the CNCF Slack and also the Hang Up Slack. Just look for Andre. My full name, yeah, it's there. Thank you. Yeah, so happy to chat with anybody who's interested in platform engineering or just like platform thinking in general, because I've been doing this for like 24 years. I've seen a lot of things. They keep repeating, but it's fun to talk about.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about the main subject. I really love talking about this subject with a lot of the people because it's really one of the interesting topic as of today. But between we talk about, let us know, how do you look at the platform engineering? So is it a comet, a planet, star, galaxy, or universe?
Oh, that's interesting. I would definitely say maybe what would that be? We can say it's a universe, but we say it's a galaxy. Like the galaxy has many solar systems and many planets, right? And so every company is its own planet. They have its unique way of doing things. Maybe some planets have no platform engineering. They just have whatever their product is. And other companies have like really vibrant ecosystems and really so many platform teams, and they do so much stuff that I'm very envious of. And maybe some companies are somewhere in between. So um, the one thing I want to stress here is like when you see the marketing for platform engineering or people talk about it, no, platform engineering has been around forever. It's basically just improving automation within a company. Um, and whatever you have going at your company, that's great for you. Like it's every company has their unique things, and platform engineering is just like bringing it out and agreeing on common terms and saying, hey, let's all not repeat solve this problem internally at our company. Let's talk about some common ways we solve it, and maybe we all agree these set of open source projects are the best way to solve that problem. And then on top of that, you at your company can go build more higher abstractions to make it easier for your company to do your specific line of business. So planets, galaxies.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the currently is, as you mentioned, the galaxy is kind of a, you look at it, but as you mentioned, like as you're moving along, things are going to be more clearer than what the company tries to do. And that's what we're talking about in the main subject today is about shared responsibility model. That definitely help us to understand, is it a star, comet, or galaxy? So now, the first question, and I think I have this question a lot, and you are the best one to actually answer this. What does the shared responsibility model means to you in the context of platform engineering?
Right. So uh, when I hear platform engineering nowadays, it's sold a lot as like, oh, just do platform engineering, make the platform in your company, and everything's solved. It's magic. But really, a platform team in your company is like a product team. It's your own startup within a company, and so you have a limited budget to do things. And so whatever you can do, like your users are your developers, engineers, or whoever the platform team is serving um, in your organization, and you can't do everything for them, nor should you promise to do. I mean, maybe you're in a huge org and you have a lot of budget and can do a lot for them, but most of the time your platform engineering team is a like 10% or very small percentage of your engineering capacity. So you can only do so much and you have to pick what you do. And so when you abstract away a problem or solve a problem for in your platform, you should um, you should be clear with your users what you can do for what you are doing for them and what you expect them to do in return. So say for example, you are abstracting away, I'll use it since we're in the CNCF here, Kubernetes. um, do you expect them to learn how to use kube control, and that is my version of kube control, or do you expect them just to use a UI? Do you expect them to understand what a deployment is, a pod and all that, or do you expect them just to have some higher level concept that you teach them? So you really, and there's no right answer. Like it depends on where your company is and how much resources you have and how well versed your developers are in the technology. Um, but you should be honest with your users of us, the platform team, are delivering X, Y, and Z. But in return, to take advantage of this, you, the developer, have to learn A, B, C, and you have to put in this effort. or else you won't be able to get the maximum value out of it. A lot of times you may, especially if you don't talk to your developers, they may assume that your platform does everything or just takes care of everything and they don't have to do anything, but that's probably not the case. So the shared responsibility is really about communicating with your users of what they need to do, and up to where that line is between you, your team, the platform, and the developers.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. As you mentioned, I think the separation of the concern and the duties, I think, need to be sorted out uh, quickly, because in the DevOps era, we often heard this phrase like DevOps are doing too much of the stuff. They're helping and accelerating the delivery for the developers, but at the end of the day, they have so many pipelines, so many duties they need to configure. They're doing tracing, monitoring, observability, troubleshooting, logging, much of the work in there. And that's actually is they are losing some of the agility. So it's too much of the work always coming up. So that we need to actually draw lines on. Absolutely. So now the next question is talk about the role and responsibilities. Now one might say, in the context of platform engineering, how do you define the role and responsibility within your platform engineering teams?
For this one, I'd say it really depends. So a lot of my answers can be it depends, but if you have the if you've been doing this for a while, or you've been able to like have a team that's able to focus on the platform, then I think you can think of it more as like a product team within or as a product company where you have a product manager that talks to your users and gets feedback, and then you have teams that work on features and deliver them. So your company, hopefully, like let's assume you're a SaaS company or a technology company, you deliver software. The same process that your company uses to deliver software and work with their users, you can take that for your own internal platform team and use those, because really you are a product, you are delivering a product. So that works quite well. If you're maybe not, so you don't really have a platform as a product, you're just taking user requests in, you still should try to think about it the same way, and try to have a process, and people within that take that process requests, that take user feedback, and try to improve the platform for everybody. Um, in our company, we sort of have a mix of both. So we have like a infrastructure team that also supports um, the cloud infrastructure and also tries to build the developer platform at the same time. It's a bit of a balance. And I think one important thing is, if you and I've talked to a lot of folks at companies that sort of have this balance where you're both working on trying to move forward a product while also like trying to deal with incidents and um, ad hoc requests all the time. Try to have a split within your team of who is the one that is sort of like building for the future and who is the one that's dealing with the current ad hoc requests and fires that are going on. And a good way I've seen a lot of companies use this is where when you have an on-call process where whoever is on call and is expected to be disrupted during that week or timeline also is the one that handles more of the ad hoc request, and then you rotate with people that, and then the other people the next week get to work on more product related features or projects.
Yes, absolutely. I think I was speaking to Brian, I think one of the previous episode 101, and he's saying the same thing. And he coins the term diffusion of innovation. And what he's saying is exactly the same. It's like some of the companies, some of the employees in your company are wanted to live in the bleeding edge. Every time you give them a new technology, they try to jump in and learn the new stuff, and they want to take challenges. And some of them are not, they're resistant. As long as they didn't see a change or vehicle for change, they doesn't adopt it. So some are early in adopter, some are early incubator, and then you actually have to change the pitch for the rest of the company, because otherwise the adoption should be, I think, adoption stop. So as you mentioned, I think you have to draw, clearly understand who are the early adopter, incubator, and who are the rest of the one, and then giving them a messaging like, if you use this tool, you have to get rid of these responsibilities, and how this tool actually removing the cognitive load from them. So I think uh, that's a similar discussion I definitely have with Brian as well. And great, like s- that is question is actually getting some sort of similarity within the different communities as well. So we speak about, as of now, share responsibility model we talk about is important. Separation of duties, you have to be do it. We talk about what roles and responsibilities are. The next question is obvious, like when the new member joins the team within your platform engineering team, so what should be the onboarding process for them?
So I think within your platform engineering team, or even if they're just a developer or one of the users, I think the best way to learn how everything works is to actually use the platform. Like, um, be a user, like dog food your own product. And I think at our company we used to sort of have this problem where we were trying to serve users, but we didn't actually have. We were trying to make it easier for developers to create and manage services. But us, the infrastructure slash platform team, didn't really have services to manage, and so we didn't actually use much of the platform itself. Like we used parts of it, but we didn't use the day to day things that our engineers use. And so that was a disconnect of like, how do we gain empathy with our users, right? And to get more into that, we stood up services, we put up services that our users were using, and we got into it and basically experience what they were doing day to day trying to use our platform. And so when you have a new user, you have them go through that, whether it's part of your team or part of your engineering teams. You have them go through the platform and learn how it works and see where it doesn't work, and have them give feedback for you, right? Because when someone has new fresh eyes on something, they can give you a different perspective. um, and so I'll just go, for example, with new engineers, we take them through the platform and we ask them, tell us what could be better, tell us what's hard about this. And for some of them, they it was a lot harder in their previous company, and so they were like, oh, this is amazing, this is great. While some of them have more experience, and they can say, well, this part was hard, I didn't so much like this, or I didn't understand this. And during that onboarding process, you can learn a lot from those new members of where it is you can improve, where is like um, where are the gaps that people like just have been working around for years. Because the many engineers, even though something is hard, we work around problems. We solve them with our own personal scripts, or we solve them in our brain, and every time we encounter a problem every day, we know automatically what to do, how to get around it. But then when someone new comes in, they're like, what is this, why is this like this? And and when you realize that, when you hear that feedback, and you hear when you have empathy with your users, you'll be like, oh yes, you're right. That doesn't make sense. I don't know why we're doing that at the company. Everybody's just gotten so used to working around that problem that nobody talks about it as a problem. So it's very important to get that new feedback from your new members.
Yes, absolutely. And as I think we often in the platform as a product approach, we talk about developers are your internal customers. So these are the one who give you the feedback as well. And within the platform engineering team, other team members are also the customers of the platform as well. So you have to really think about and have to speak with them about, because that's where you get a wonderful feedback about the product and the feature you are developing. So another the question, and that is one I'd like to understand, because you work with some of the customers and also on the company side as well. You go to the KubeCon and you have a good customers and community experience as well. So, what one challenge, if I ask about, if what one challenge have you found unique when implementing the shared responsibility model?
Right. So I wouldn't say this is exactly unique, but I think it's definitely a challenge. So when you draw a line and you say, okay, this is the platform, this is what it does for this thing, and only up to here, you will find users that will say, oh, that's great. But then you also find users who are very passionate, and they're like, well, I want more, or can you add this extra feature, can you change it in a way to make this, make improve this, take in my suggestion, like. And you will get a lot of that, and it's your job as the platform team, thinking as a product, um, which feedback to action on, because you can't action on all feedback, or else you'll get to where you came from, where you have a lot of features, too many features to manage, too much complexity. And this is where I think the paved path or golden path thinking helps a lot, where you as the platform team, your team, have to um, draw a line in the sand, and have opinions, strong opinions on what the platform should do and what it should not do. And that's okay if that changes over time, but when you get feedback, um, use that to challenge your assumptions of how the platform should work, and if you should change the platform according to that feedback, or you may have to go back to users and say, I'm sorry, your feedback is very good, um, but we decided that we can't implement that, or it's not worth it. It's not worth the. My manager likes to say that if the juice is worth the squeeze. So if it's not worth it to implement that, um, because everything you implement in the platform, every single line of code you write is tech debt. Like it's a burden, it's a responsibility that someone 5, 10 years in the future at your company will have to look at and understand why this thing exists. Why does it? Why does someone do this? And how do I maintain this? So you have to be very careful of every line you write, and so that's where the having the opinion of what the golden path is very important.
Yes, absolutely. Totally agree. And I think on the same question on that front is like if you look at the platform engineering today, as I mentioned earlier, like in the platform engineering today, some said there's a lot of the things platform engineer have to be done, have to do. Like first they need a feedback from their developers, then they have to maintain a delivery, then they have to build a platform as well that is actually delivering the application for the customers. So some might say that only platform engineer are actually getting feedback, delivery for the platform, delivery for the apps, and then sometime convincing developer to use these solutions, because sometimes developers are very hard coded, are very opinionated about the tools they already have. They don't want to break their environments. So there's some convincing, some delivery, and some suggestion and some feedback. So some might say there's a lot of work has to be done by the one only platform engineering team. So what ways to keep track of workload management for platform engineering teams?
A lot of the things you mentioned, like it's very funny because that sounds like some of the complaints or challenges that our company has delivering our product, our end product to customers, which is like an AI solution software, and we have to convince customers this is the new thing, this is the best thing for you, and the like to change the way you're doing things. And really, like that's what a platform engineering is. It's a startup. It's trying to find product market fit within another company, and it's not easy. It's hard. I like it personally. I've done a bunch of startups in my past. Some have worked out, some haven't. But I like solving big problems and solving it for people and improving their lives. So I sort of get to work in a startup within another company. Um, but like tracking it, if you think about it, ask yourself, like, if you what does your company use for tracking their work? What does their company use for tracking feedback? What does your company use for managing delivery? if you can if you can say use the exact same tools that your developers use, whether that be Jira or some um, documentation process, you'll actually be like solving two problems at once. You'll be using the existing tools, and you'll be having empathy with your developers to develop the platform. If you don't, that's fine also. Then you have bug tracking software, you have issue management software, you have performance management. I mean, there's a whole sorts of things. It's basically this whole software development lifecycle. But I think what's important really is just the mindset of always getting constant feedback, um, user interviews. In a past life, I tried to do user experience. Um, they're interviewing users, like just asking them very qualitative questions, and then watching how they go through a process is very eye-opening. Just and you can track that, via surveys and spreadsheets, or just have qualitative feedback and take that in. But I think being as close to your user as possible really helps you with 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 learning what best to do next. So definitely don't do waterfall, right? But do I would say, for example, um, I'm going to be a bit of a tangent here, but um, one of the things that and I know there are some types of SREs that do embedding, but if your platform team, don't silo your platform team away from your users. Um, Try to get them embedded in teams and as close to teams as possible. So last quarter, one of the things we did at our company was we put two engineers on different teams at our company to like be 50% work on the work of that team, not work on the platform, but work on the product work of that team. And those engineers have been there at the company for a long time, and they know how things work. But when they joined the other team, they discovered, oh, there's so much we didn't know about what teams are struggling with. It's actually not what our platform team thinks about every day. It's actually more like product concerns, just like where the button goes, how the design works, what the customer feedback is. There's so much they're thinking of. And from that feedback, we were able to gain more empathy and uh, look at, well, maybe we should change our roadmap a bit to help what our users, our product teams are going through. And so just that is what I want to get across, is just finding the way to gain empathy with your users can really unlock a lot of value, that then you have a full feedback cycle of, then you can deliver better products for your users, better capabilities, and ultimately make them happier, make them more productive, which in the end makes the business more productive and more successful, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I think one of the previous episode, one of the guests is actually mentioned wonderful line on this, all the thing you spoke about. He said like what you can do is you can actually ask, you can create a one room and ask and call out every one of the top tier within your organization and ask them to sit on the same room and ask them to create a sticky and one challenge that you are facing oftenly, and let's stick them on the board. And all the one like DevOps engineers, software developers, or engineering manager, product manager, or sales enablement engineer, and platform engineer, and other as well. So, and let's look at the board now and see how many approvals are written on the board for particularly sticky note. If that approval belongs to one team, a lot of times there's been this team required some patience, some empathy, some help that's consolidate some of the work in some other areas as well. So absolute, and that's he I think is important for the lot of the Kubernetes based market, because there's so much of the work we are doing in the different team as well. So final two rapid fire question before I let you go. One is, what advice would you give to organization looking to adopt shared responsibility model for their platform engineering teams?
Well, aside from everything I've mentioned, I would say reach out to the CNCF Platforms Working Group on the CNCF Slack. There are lots of more experienced and more talented people there than I, and they have so much experience, and it's really a community. And so I think is be open to sharing what challenges you have with the with the CNCF community, because you'll find a lot of users there are having, from other companies, are having similar challenges. And then just by talking about your challenges, you can see, oh, this company solved it this way, this company solved it another way, and then ask them, what were the trade-offs, why did they solve it like that? And so you can take that back as feedback and say, okay, I've seen how others have solved it and what their trade-offs were. I can make a better decision about how to solve this problem within our company. And so it's really more like, um, as much as possible, yeah, don't silo even your own company. Like every company has these problems of how to deliver faster, how to deliver more, how to gain more value out of AI is a big topic nowadays. How to gain more value out of AI. I don't think anybody really knows at this point. Like everybody's trying to figure it out, even us as a AI native company. So ask, go be vulnerable, go out there, and the KubeCon and the CNCF Slack is a great place to ask questions. People are really friendly. Um, yeah, just get your ask as many people as you can.
Absolutely. So now the time for the recap, because we spoke about so many things is on the show as well. We spoke about share responsibility model. We spoke about what the role and responsibilities look like. We spoke about some of the how you actually keep track of the workload management and how do you imply and educate and onboard new team members. And now we spoke about some of the consideration you have to look for the organization if you wanted to adopt the platform engineering. And one very good consideration is actually join the CNCF platform working group, because now we are working on some white papers. We already written two of them: definition, cloud data definition white paper, and platform engineering maturity model. Those are very popular nowadays. And now we're working on the platform as a product where you interview end user, communicate them what understand what the challenges they have, so we can actually come up with some patterns, how many similarities we have found, and what could be the one optimal solution for all of these set of problem as well. So that's you'd definitely want to join on as well. So now it's up to Marcelo to give us a recap in about 1 minute. So Marcelo's five key takeaways on shared responsibility model for platform engineering teams.
How 1 minute, five things. Number one, have an opinion. Draw a line in the sand for your golden path. Number two, be honest about what you can do for your teams, and tell them up to where your platform can take it. What is the abstraction, and where that team has to learn something and take on cognitive load. Three, join the CNCF platform's working group channel. Say hi. Everybody's friendly there. Four, don't try to solve everything at your company. Don't try to solve all problems. Be opinionated, but like get that user feedback, get that empathy with your users. Find out what are the biggest problems, what are the problems that are closest to your user, um, that are unique to your company, and solve that. For everything else that's common, lots of CNCF projects out there to solve those problems. Five, keep learning, keep watching this show, keep watching others out there. Like the space is always changing, but know that platform engineering is not new. It's just more of a, everybody's talking about more, so it has common language. But whatever you are doing within your company to get from zero to production, whatever that process is, documentation, automation, manual scripts, tickets, that is your internal developer platform. And now that we have common terminology, you can start talking about it with others and improve it and make it better, because there are plenty of people to talk about it. It's not just your problem alone. It's all our problem.
Absolutely. And one final key takeaway from my side as well, that Marcelo is going delivering a key KubeCon talk, and I will share the link on the YouTube description. Go watch it. Make sure you actually have visited Marcelo's talk and ask question live. But I've chat about it during the KubeCon Paris that's happening in, I think, March 18 to 2022. And between, also go to the platform working group as well, and ask and join the discussion there. And we actually going hosting some lightning talk at the CNCF tag app delivery booth. So it's sign up is open. It's in the description of the YouTube. Click on this and then join and sign up and give us a key some lightning talk. What are your challenges and what are your solutions for the platform engineering today? With that, I'm super stoked to finally meet Marcelo on this channel first time and second time, um, because they already met on the CNCF platform working group. That's the beauty of that group as well. So it's been a pleasure talking to you. And Marcelo actually gave us a good perspective that is very important to start thinking about separation of duties, separation of concerns for the platform and development teams, and make sure you are getting the right feedback at the right time, and you actually jumping upon the feedback that you're getting from your internal developer platform customers and developers. With that, once again, thank you for tuning into this show. If you have more questions, you can include this on the chat. I will ask Marcelo to reply to those as well, or I can reply that as well. But thank you very much before being on the show, Marcelo. It's a pleasure talking to you. We'll meet soon, hopefully sometime, and also in the CNCF platform working group. With that, have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.